Hello and welcome to the Automation Insider. I'm your host, Joe McGrath, and I have my friend Nick with me today. Nick, introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Nick Schoultheis. I'm a product development engineer here at Hy-Tek, and we're kind of in my second office right now with my coworker Jesse Lockwood and I, but yeah, here to talk about some fun stuff today with Joe.
Yeah, I get often asked what are the trends you're seeing in the market, and last year we did a little video about the trends of 2025. And it went pretty well. So we're going to do what we think the trends are going to be in 2026 for warehouse automation. And I think that one of the big ones that I've seen growing over time is the ability for systems to natively handle a case. I think it sounds kind of weird. So let's go over here and check this out.
Yeah, for sure. In what is native case handling? Well, in essence, it's handling, your master case that would traditionally come in the doors. So there's huge operations out there where involve detrashing, decanting your master case before you can get it into one of these giant robotic systems. But yeah, we can see some of the trends occurring where you leverage some outside technology to delid, do some of that automation of detrashing, and we can send that master case directly into a first system.
And so in the past, you used to have to decant it. So you take the inventory and dump it into a bin, or the tray would have to come out to you. You'd put it on the tray. And a couple of systems I've done, years back, you'd have to have another machine that would put it on the tray for you. So like a trayer, detrayer system.
Yeah.
And having all the third-party hardware is kind of a pain in the butt. But more stuff can go wrong. They're typically a limited resource, so it can bottleneck you.
Yep.
That's been a lot of issue.
Yeah. So, and one of our strategic partners here represented in the lab, of course, is Hy-Tek. And we're showing off right now here the bin or load exchanger, which solves exactly what you're talking about and encapsulates it all into one system. So there's no third-party handshakes that have to happen. You can interface your WMS directly from this conveyor directly to that load exchanger and start working. So that's how we got all the trays in this system. That's how we're getting all our cases in and out, is through this one load exchanger.
Cool. And I think there's some other people that are doing this too. I know that the folks at TGW have been natively handling cases for a while, and they're probably the OGs in that movement. But even Hy has a trayer or a case handler on their inbound. So I think it's kind of growing a lot more in the industry. There's a lot of case projects where hey, I want to be able to put a whole case in, or I want to save a lot of replenishment labor on the decant.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you just want to save those touches, right? Those nuisance operator touches where these can go wrong, where you create hospital incidents. I mean, with native case handling, it gets you away from that.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Jesse. You're welcome. Okay, so another big trend I've been seeing is RAS, so Robots as a Service.
Yes. So
tell me, what is RAS to you?
RAS to me is, it's a good way to get your foot in the door with automation and a little bit risk averse, I'd say. So traditionally these projects, goods to person projects, they come at a huge CapEx cost, right? So what if we could just dip our feet in the water, you try out a little bit of automation and see how it scales with our existing operation?
Yeah.
So I think that's where RAS really fits into play. I don't think it hasn't really hit its full stride in the States yet, but I do think we're going to see that.
There's some folks like Locust that I think do a pretty good clip of RAS, and I think there are certain types of customers that are way more receptive to robots as a service or renting equipment than others. I think 3PLs are the poster child for this.
Contract.
They'll have a short contract. They need to have everything happen within that contract. They don't want to be holding the bag afterwards.
Yep.
And so it's much more appealing to those folks.
For sure.
I don't think they're typically the absolute best, most dialed in solutions all the time.
No, they're typically like these out of the box, not a lot of play, right? I mean, but they're very standardized solutions.
Yeah, you can deploy them super quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not going to be in this building for 15 years, it maybe doesn't make sense to really dial something in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You can't make the same justification of a $25 million system and up.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, do you know of any other big players that are doing RAS stuff, or what have you seen? What types of technologies?
Yeah, so I have actually, through some of our research that we do here on this team, we do a lot of product vetting and product discovery of new products that hit the market. And one research project I was tasked with about a year ago, underwent for 6 months, was computer vision, and I am seeing a ton of computer vision startups that are very impressive technology-wise. Maybe haven't figured out the scale portion yet, that are adopting that RAS model to try to get their foot in the door and kind of scale a little bit.
All right, interesting. I've seen some drone companies do that as well. So the inventory drones, like let's just kind of go month to month.
Yep.
And sometimes they're like usage models. Sometimes they're like time-based models.
Yeah,
very interesting.
We're seeing that not just with like drone inventory, but just inventory bots in general. I've seen those models as well.
Yeah,
I know they're getting big too, even at the retail space, which is cool to kind of see robotics even at that consumer-facing level.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Well, so I saw something really cool over here. Guys, follow me this way. Yeah. So, Nick, I think another big thing that I've been feeling in the market, and I've seen some papers and some articles on this, is that the software side of the business is actually growing way faster than the hardware side of the business. So traditionally, there's a lot of conveyor in the projects. There's a lot of racks, robots, fences, all these pieces of hardware, maybe controls devices. And now that percentage is kind of creeping up way faster on the software side. I think I saw something like 17% growth in the software side of these projects year over year, which is pretty wild.
And honestly, the way the market is trending, I mean, your software is kind of what makes or breaks you, because that's what you look at Wes, your WMS. Wes is your orchestrator, right, of everything. So that really has to be honed in with the additional technologies that you have in your building. If they're all operating a little bit disjointed, I mean, you can definitely feel that in your operations.
Well, so it sounds like there's a lot of like way more complicated projects. We're having multiple robotic type systems, pieces of automation touch each other.
Yep.
And then customer requirements are getting like more and more intense because you have to serve those shareholders in a more aggressive way, I think, right?
Oh, for sure.
And software, like very often, is kind of the answer to that. How do I make this robotic system better? I'll use a little bit of software and optimize those routines, or I'll let it. A great example is hooking a T-sort up to like an ASRS, right? So now I can do a super efficient batches sort.
Yeah.
But the way you do that is kind of complicated, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some sort of middle handshake there between when you have two robotic systems, and that's where a platform like One could do really well, just serving as that middleman communication between each piece. But you're exactly right with you need to find something that can orchestrate it well. And with, like you said earlier, change management is huge with that software piece.
Yeah.
So what we have, at least here at this lab, is a physical barrier from that change management. So our customers are never, the guinea pig of the new software release, what this lab is.
Yeah.
And it will always be that way because our OEMs don't always release bug-free software within a perfect world, but that's why we work with them and kind of grow and shape those products together.
I think it's a really good point. Like, as these systems become more complicated and as you have more and more software components to deal with, that being able to manage that change through like the IT or through the operations folks becomes more and more intense. And I've seen a number of projects over the last couple of years where there's like a budget line item or a consultant hired just to help manage all these changes. It's not like we'll drop some conveyor and the maintenance guys will figure it out anymore.
No.
Those days are gone. And now it's like, does everybody understand exactly what the software is going to do this?
Yeah.
What are all the APIs? Once it's set up, it's great. But getting there can be a bit of you could take some deep breaths, and it's a bit of an undertaking, right?
For sure. Yeah, you have to go through lots of reps, on-site testing to get there. But and then for the new changes that happen, having everyone on the same page to know when your approximate downtime is, what your approximate rollback plan is, that's critical. Because
how it's supposed to work, what are your operational plans? Like,
exactly.
What should the waving schedule be? Like, this is, it's a lot to them. They're complicated, they're extremely powerful, but yeah. Okay, so speaking of extremely powerful, I've seen you work on this a couple of times.
Yeah.
In the lab, and I think the idea here is AI, as buzzwordy as it typically is, right?
Oh yeah.
Is maybe this is maybe the best application I've seen of it in our space.
Yeah.
So explain what this is and how the AI is impacting us.
Yeah, so there's a few systems at play here, but I'll explain the big ones here. So we have a UR14E robotic arm. We have a bin end effector arm tool here for picking out of our bin here, which is a homogeneous tote. But it has 3PL type SKUs in there. So where we're picking transparent bags, which is very hard for a vision system to do accurately. And you can see these products, they have a white and black contrast. So having a good vision system to detect that color contrast there and the product variation is huge. Lots of the times, traditional vision systems, they'll see the object inside the transparent bag and not the bag itself.
Yep.
But yeah, we have a Photo Neo camera here, which is a recent purchase of ours here in this lab. That's some of the cool stuff we do here is vet and find new products to create new products for the market, specifically for Hy-Tek's offering here. So
this is the camera right here?
Yeah. So that camera right there, it's to quickly explain here to the audience what a vision system does, can be broken down into two components, segmentation and your point cloud generation. So segmentation, that's going to be finding every object within that bin. So yes, this is an object, this is an object. That's typically like a 2D from the top down image that breaks those objects apart. And then we combine that with our point cloud image, which is a 3D image that looks at the XYZ coordinates of each object within the bin. And there's a couple ways you can generate that point cloud. Most vision systems on the market are generating a colored image point cloud, which makes it a little bit harder for the processing unit inside the camera to interpolate that colored image. Here, Photo Neo uses like a blue light technology to essentially generate that point cloud. It's a lot more accurate, a lot more fine-tuned than interpolating that colored image. But yeah, I have some pics I can show off for you here.
So this is a random bin.
Yeah, so it's a random bin with like random product in it too. So that's the really cool part about Photo Neo is traditional vision systems, you gotta have an image database or a SKU database of every single SKU that is in your operation. Here, it gets us away from that. We're just using a neural network model here that was trained on a ton of 3PL goods.
Yeah.
So I set this whole thing up in around 2 hours and we were able to get picking with this product, just selecting the proper neural network to use, and yeah, it's that easy.
So within 2 hours, we have a robot cell that is automatically picking and inducting to another, in this case, another robotic system.
Correct. Yeah.
That's wild.
So, and you can kind of see behind it too. We're dual systeming here.
Yeah.
We'll eventually be communicating to a Topkins T-sort, to where we can robotic induct directly into a Topkins T-sort, directly to a mirror cart, where once he detects this tote's full, we can send that message through a Wes type situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'll go off to go drop this bin off to order complete area or pack out.
Now, you know what's wild about this? It's got a 3D printed end of arm tool. It's a cobot, so it's a robot that's designed to be safe. It's using computer vision and an AI brain. Like, none of this existed when I was a 10-year-old kid deciding what I wanted to do.
No. I definitely.
And this is a normal thing now.
I know. I love what I do because I come and I'm just basically a big kid playing with Legos right now. And yeah, that's pretty much every day in this place for me. So I like it a lot.
Very cool. So it's kind of, typically cobots are slower.
Yeah.
You can do the same type of operation with like a real,
for sure.
A real robot?
For sure, yeah. We had this UR bot just kind of gathering dust for a little bit, so we decided to, kind of use it to showcase some of what we could do here. But yeah, you could totally set this up with a FANUC, ABB. Would be a little bit more costly because the safeties that go into creating an actual cell.
Yep.
But it would be much quicker. Here we're showcasing probably around a 12-second pick rate, which is around 300 to 350 units per hour. But if this were a cell, I mean, you could get down to consistent 5 to 8 seconds per pick.
Just lightning fast.
Pretty fast, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
Sweet.
So I think that brings me in to the last big trend I've seen in the last couple of years, but definitely is accelerating this year. And I think it's all of the last generation of technology is starting to age out and become replaced, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this particular application I think is super interesting because what we had before was maybe a T-sort or something like that, and I'd have an operator inducting into that, or I might have a loop sorter with an operator inducting, and there was some mechatronic versions of like semi-auto or auto induct.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think the next couple of years, we're going to start seeing a whole bunch of like replacement, pull the operator out, let the operator go do something that only a human can do.
Yeah.
Let this machine slowly, methodically, and consistently go ahead and induct everything in a super safe and efficient manner.
For sure. Yeah, and even scale up with this type of technology. So when you have your robots working year round, and then you can still scale up with some operators.
Yeah, add labor for the peak season, pull everybody out of the office for a couple hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. But I've also seen, so this is a very pertinent example because we're standing right in front of it. But there's stuff like PIC modules. I don't know, 15 years ago, like if you had a PIC module in your building, that's a cool building, right? Yeah. You guys you're in it. It's passing from zone to zone.
Everyone's using RF guns. Yeah, they know their RF screens.
Yeah, and this last year, and I think it's going to accelerate in the next coming years. Like maybe I want to upgrade that PIC module, but should I just use like an ASR? Like should I put a Hy in place of a PIC module?
Oh yeah.
And I think it's a super interesting discussion, and I think that the economics have changed so much that that's perfectly reasonable decision to just go ahead and have an extremely dense, super high throughput system instead of a PIC module that you have to walk all over,
For sure. I mean, that's what a lot of these ASR systems aim to eliminate, is that A to B point movement that takes up most of the time of your operation when they're picking in those traditional PIC modules. And yeah, getting away from that movement is key, but and then at the same time, I think the future system, or the system of the future, it might not look like a goods to person system. It might be a robotic to goods type deal. Another big thing that I just remembered recently too, just because I've seen it firsthand with bringing up this new system, is the ease of training your operations on a goods to person system or an ASRS. I mean, traditional PIC modules, that's a lot like we were mentioning earlier, all your RF guns, all your RF screens, training all your operators on what screen means what, where is location 2A in my PIC module. It takes a few weeks for them to get
accustomed to everything.
Yeah, down pat with your operation, which traditional goods to person systems now that we're seeing those traditional operations be replaced with, ease of training has gone down to a few days, a week.
So while the software complexity shoots up,
yes,
the actual operations, once it's all set, it's significantly easier.
The GUI is much more user-friendly. I mean, the operator screens have multiple languages that they're already set to. So yeah, the ease of training with those RF guns, they go out the window. I mean, your new screens, are your RF guns. So we have the Hy-Tek Gen 2 here, which is one of the first Gen 2s that has been set up in the States here, but just kind of showcasing that ease of pick in the UI. So it's just telling my operator to pick 3 items. We could upload an image here for this, transfer 3 items here, confirm the pick, and it's all self-explanatory on the screen, right? Like I'm not questioning.
Well, I think this is a cool setup too. Like this is another kind of a sleeper. This is maybe a 27 thing that we'll start seeing a lot of. But an internal pick, I think, is what we've been calling it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Instead of having a whole huge put wall with 15 locations on it, you just have this robot cycle. We'll build the order here. We'll hold the order inside the ASRS, and then whenever we want to load or send it to parcel to be fluid loaded or whatever, we kick it out of one of these exchangers.
Send it direct to pack out. Exactly that. So
Hy-Tek's got to crack the code first, but I suspect there's going to be a lot of followers.
I think that might be another 2026 or 2027 trend we'll see with robotic technologies, where they're just keeping it internal to the system. No more handoffs with middleware right outside the system. Just go direct to pack out, simplify the application.
Yeah. Later. See you, dude. I think another big one, when we've walked by a whole bunch of beverages, I think you guys have been doing a lot of testing out here.
Yeah.
A lot of the last generation of like beverage systems, there was a lot of very few type of stuff like that. Maybe like a higher percentage of mechanical stuff. I've seen a lot of that stuff actually switch over to like robotic-based ASRS equipment.
Yeah, or unit load handling of each one of those. Yeah.
Yep.
I can foresee that being a bigger trend too.
I think the ability to handle cases natively is a big one. The ability to maybe bottle pick inside of a system like this is a big one. And then there's less of a reliance on like this. Lane can hold 15 cases and that's it. Now you can have any number of any different SKU.
It's entirely dynamic now.
Yeah, so as the SKUs grow, I know beverage is kind of an interesting one, that more and more SKUs every year.
Yep.
Because I always want a different flavor of soft drink, right?
I mean, they have to have some new spring promotion or a new movie comes out.
And you got to put it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So we've been seeing a bunch of those turnover.
So yeah, I can foresee that happening to multiple other industries where they're just, getting more to that native taste level, away from those traditional operations like detrashing, decanting, because it's more of a touch, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it isolated to the system.
Cool. Well, Nick, thank you very much for
for sure.
walking through the lab and talking about trends with me. I appreciate it.
It was great to talk to you, Joe.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And for everybody following along at home, check us out on Spotify or Apple or wherever you download podcasts, and hit us up on YouTube. Drop us some comments on LinkedIn. We always love to hear feedback. Thank you.
Bye.